They hired her because they thought she wouldn't last. The dust of Black Hollow Ranch clung to everything: boots, skin, breath. It settled into the cracks of a man and stayed there. And into that dust she stepped. A single light blue dress against a world of brown and sunburnt wood. May Lynn stopped in front of the cookhouse, a small trunk at her feet, hands clasped tight in front of her. She didn't look around, didn't fidget, just stood there, like she had already decided she would not be moved. The men on the porch watched her, 6 of them, dirty, sweat-stained, hard, the kind of men who judged quickly and rarely changed their minds. "Well, that's her?" Briggs spat near the steps, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. "That's what they sent us?" A few chuckles, low, rough. "She don't look like she can lift a pot, let alone feed 6 hungry men." May Lynn lifted her head, slowly, just enough. Her eyes met his, dark, clear, unflinching. "I can cook." Her voice was soft, but it carried, not loud, not defensive, just certain. That made a few of them shift slightly. Not respect, not yet, but something different. Briggs snorted. "We don't need tea and rice here." "We need meat, bread, something that sticks." A pause. "Think you can handle that?" She didn't answer right away, didn't rush. Then, "I can cook what is needed." Same tone, same calm, like his opinion didn't change anything. That annoyed him. You could see it. From the far end of the porch, a chair scraped, soft, but it cut through everything. A man stood, hat low, shadow across his face. He hadn't laughed, hadn't spoken, hadn't reacted at all, until now. The well pump is primed. His voice was low, even, directed at her, not at Briggs. "You'll find water in the back." A pause. Woods stacked by the stove. Silence followed, thicker this time, because he hadn't asked permission to speak, and he hadn't looked at Briggs once. May Lynn turned her head, looked at him, really looked. Not like the others, not sizing him up, seeing him. She gave a small nod, barely noticeable, but deliberate. "Thank you." 2 words, simple, but in that moment they meant more than politeness. They meant, "I see you." The man didn't nod back, didn't smile, just watched her a second longer than necessary, then sat down again, silent, like nothing had happened. "Get inside," Briggs muttered, already bored of the exchange. "Dinner's at sundown. Don't mess it up." May Lynn bent, lifted her trunk. It looked too heavy for her, but she didn't struggle, didn't ask, didn't pause. She walked past them, up the steps, through the doorway. And as she passed, just for a second, the man on the porch looked up again. His eyes followed her, not like the others, not curious, not mocking. Something else, something quieter, something more dangerous. Inside, the cookhouse was a mess. Old grease, cold ash, broken order, a place no one respected, a place no one cared about. May Lynn set her trunk down, looked around, took it all in. The dirt, the neglect, the work waiting for her. Most people would have felt overwhelmed. She didn't. She rolled up her sleeves, and in that small motion something shifted. Not in the room, not yet, but in the story that was about to unfold. By sunset, the air had changed. The smell hit first. Rich, warm, real food. Not survival, not scraps. Food made with care. The men stepped inside one by one and stopped. The floor was clean, the table set, the fire alive. It didn't look like the same place. Briggs frowned, suspicious, like something had gone wrong. He grabbed a plate, tasted, paused. Didn't say anything, didn't praise, but he didn't complain either, and that was louder than words. At the far end, the quiet man sat again, plate in front of him. He took one bite, then another, slow, deliberate, and when he finally looked up, his eyes found her, standing near the stove, watching. He didn't smile, didn't nod, didn't speak, but there it was, clear as anything, approval, respect, and something just beginning to form beneath it. That was the first moment, not loud, not obvious, but real. Because in a place where nothing came easy, he had just seen something worth noticing, and she had just stepped into a life that was about to change everything. The cookhouse didn't change all at once. It happened in pieces, small ones, quiet ones. Before sunrise, she was already awake, moving softly through the dark, like she belonged there. By the time the first man stepped inside, the fire was alive, water hot, bread rising. No one said anything. They just noticed. The way the place smelled different. The way the table was set, not thrown together. The way things fit. By the third day, they were wiping their boots before stepping in, not because anyone told them to, because it felt wrong not to. Outside, the ranch stayed the same, dust, heat, work. But inside, something had shifted, and everyone felt it, even if they didn't say it. Cole Turner noticed first, not the cleaning, not the cooking, her. The way she moved through the space, without rushing, without asking, like she didn't need permission to exist there. Her sleeves rolled just past her elbows, revealing slender arms, stronger than they looked. Her dress simple, but when she leaned over the table, the fabric followed the shape of her body. Subtle, unintentional, but impossible not to see. He looked away. Too late. That afternoon he found her behind the cookhouse, kneeling in the dirt. The ground there was dry, hard, unforgiving. Nothing grew easily in that soil, but she was working it anyway. A broken stick in her hand, turning the earth, slow, patient. Cole leaned against the fence, watched. Didn't announce himself, didn't interrupt. She didn't notice him at first, focused completely. When she did, she didn't jump, didn't flinch, just looked up, met his eyes. "You grow something?" he asked. She nodded. "If the soil allows." A pause. "If not," she pressed her fingers into the dirt. "I make it." That caught his attention more than anything else. The next morning he left a shovel and a hoe leaning against the wall. No note, no explanation. When he came back that evening, the patch had changed. Clean lines, turned earth, ready. Inside, his shirt lay on the table, the tear at the sleeve gone, stitched, carefully, neatly, better than before. He picked it up, ran his fingers over the thread, then looked toward the stove. She was there, working like nothing had happened. "You did this." Not a question. She didn't turn. "Yes." Simple. Cole nodded once. Didn't thank her. Didn't need to. The understanding was already there. That night, something changed. 2 plates, not 1, sat on the table. He sat, waited, didn't start eating. After a moment, her door opened. She stepped out, slower this time, more aware. Her eyes went to the table, then to him. He didn't speak, just gestured, a small movement, enough. She sat across from him, than before. They ate in silence, but not the same silence. This one shared. He noticed everything now, the way her fingers held the spoon, the way she paused before each bite, the way she kept her back straight, even when tired. Halfway through, she reached forward, moved a piece of meat from her bowl into his. He frowned. "You need it." She shook her head. "You work more." A pause. "And you forget to eat." That almost made him react. Instead, he took it, looked at it, then placed it back in her bowl. Eat. Low, firm. She met his gaze, didn't argue, didn't lower her eyes, just held it. Then nodded once, and obeyed. That night he didn't sleep easily, not because of noise, because of awareness. Her presence, in the next room, moving, breathing, existing. At one point she passed by his door, close, very close, and for a second he felt it, the nearness, the warmth, the fact that someone else was inside his space. He turned slightly, staring into the dark, listening. He had lived alone long enough that this should have bothered him. It didn't. Because for the first time, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt shared. And somewhere between the clean floor, the warm food, and the quiet rhythm of her presence, Cole Turner began to realize this place wasn't changing. He was. The heat didn't break. It pressed down harder each day, like the sky itself was tired of waiting. Maylin stood at the basin, washing. Same rhythm, same quiet, until her hand slipped. The sound cut through the room, clean, sudden, final. The teacup lay in pieces on the floor, white porcelain, painted blue blossoms, split down the middle. She didn't move at first, just stared, like her body hadn't caught up with what had already happened. Then slowly she knelt. Her fingers hovered over the shards, not touching yet, just remembering. It had been the last thing she carried with her, from another life, another world, from someone who was no longer in it. Her hand trembled slightly, just once. Then she began gathering the pieces, careful, too careful, like if she moved wrong, they would break again. A shadow passed the doorway. Briggs. He glanced in, saw the broken cup, saw her on the floor, and scoffed. "Just a cup," he muttered. "Get back to work." Silence again, heavier now. She kept gathering, didn't cry, didn't speak, but something in her had cracked with it. The cookhouse was empty, the men gone, the fire low. She sat at the table, the pieces laid out on a cloth in front of her, trying to fit them together, failing, trying again. The door opened. Quiet. She didn't look up, didn't need to. Cole stepped inside, stopped, saw the table, saw her, saw everything. He didn't ask what happened, didn't say her name, just walked over, pulled out a chair, and sat across from her. The silence stretched. Not awkward, not empty, full. He looked at the broken pieces, then at her hands, still trying, still failing. Some things don't go back. His voice was low, careful, not harsh, not dismissive, just true. Her hands stilled. Finally, she lifted her eyes, met his. "You keep them anyway," she said, soft, because that was the part most people didn't understand. Cole nodded slightly. He leaned forward, not touching her, not yet, just closer. "Sometimes," he said, "that's all you can do." Something passed between them then, not words, not comfort, understanding, the kind that didn't need explaining. She looked back down, at the pieces. Then, slowly, she stopped trying to fix them. Instead, she gathered them, carefully, placed them together, not whole, but kept. Cole watched her, the way she moved, the way she held something broken like it still mattered. His hand shifted on the table, closer, then closer still, until it rested just beside hers. Not touching, not yet, but close enough that the space between them disappeared. She noticed. Her fingers stilled again, hovering. Then slowly they moved, not away, closer. Her fingertips brushed his, light, barely there. Neither of them pulled back. His hand turned slightly, calloused palm open, rough skin against soft. He didn't grab, didn't hold, just let it happen. That was the difference. The fire crackled softly behind them, shadows moving along the walls, time slowing. "My husband," she said. The words came quietly, unexpected. "He gave it to me." A pause. "He believed this place would be kind." Cole's jaw tightened slightly, not at her, at the world that had proven him wrong. "He was wrong," she added, not bitter, just honest. Cole's voice came lower now, closer. "You're still here." A pause. "That counts for something." She looked at him again, this time longer, seeing more. "And you?" she asked. "What did you lose?" That question hung in the air, heavy. He didn't answer right away, didn't look away either. Enough. One word, but it carried weight, years of it. That was all she needed. Their hands were still there, touching, not accidental any more, not uncertain. She didn't pull away, and for the first time He didn't either. Because in that quiet, broken moment, they weren't two strangers anymore. They were two people holding pieces of things that could never be fixed and finding something new in what remained. The heat broke that evening, not with rain, with tension. The men came back later than usual, louder, drunker, the kind of energy that didn't belong in a place like this. Mei Lin was still inside, cleaning, finishing the last of the dishes. She heard them before she saw them. The voices, rougher than usual, slower. The door pushed open, hard. Briggs stepped in first, a bottle in his hand, half empty, or half gone. "Well, now," he muttered, leaning against the doorway. "Still working, huh?" She didn't answer, didn't look at him, just kept moving. That irritated him immediately. "You hear me?" Closer now. Too close. She turned slightly, enough to acknowledge, not enough to invite. Yes, calm, controlled. He smirked, slow, ugly. "Been watching you." His eyes moved over her, not subtle, not respectful. "You ain't as useless as I thought." Silence. She stepped away, putting space between them, but the room was small, and he followed. "Don't walk away when I'm talking." His hand shot out, grabbing her wrist, hard, too hard. She froze, not from fear alone, from the suddenness, the force. "Let go." Her voice, still steady, but lower now. He laughed, didn't move. Or what? The air changed, instantly, like something invisible had entered the room. Heavy, certain. "Or I will." The voice came from behind him, low, flat, dead serious. Briggs didn't turn right away. Didn't want to, but something in that tone forced him to. Cole stood in the doorway, hat low, shadow across his eyes, but his presence filled the entire room. His gaze dropped, straight to Briggs' hand, still gripping her wrist. "Take your hand off her." No anger, no shouting, just command. Briggs scoffed, trying to laugh it off. "You forget where you stand, Turner?" He squeezed her wrist slightly, testing. That was it. Cole moved, fast, faster than anyone expected. His hand clamped around Briggs' arm, twisting it hard, forcing it off her. Briggs stumbled, caught off guard. Before he could recover, Cole shoved him back, hard. The table rattled, bottle hitting the floor. Silence exploded into the room. Mei Lin stepped back, free now, but not moving far. Eyes locked on Cole. Briggs straightened, face flushed, rage building. "You think you can—" "Enough." One word, but it stopped everything. Cole stepped forward, now fully in the light, no shadow left. And for the first time, he didn't look like one of them. Not just another ranch hand. Something else. Something higher. "You've been drinking on my land." A pause. "You've been running your mouth in my house." Another step closer. "And now you're putting your hands on what belongs here." Briggs blinked, confusion cutting through anger. "Your land?" The room shifted, all at once. Cole held his gaze, didn't blink, didn't explain, didn't need to. "I own Black Hollow." Silence. heavy, final. Everything clicked. Too late. Briggs's expression changed from anger to something smaller, something weaker. "You've been watching," Cole finished for him. "Listening." Another step. "Deciding who stays." Briggs swallowed. The fight gone. Just like that. "You're done here," Cole said, flat, cold. "You and anyone who thinks like you." Briggs looked around. No one backed him up. No one moved. He stepped back, then another, muttering something under his breath, not loud enough to matter. Gone. The room emptied with him. One by one, the others followed. Quiet now. Careful. Only two people left. Mei Lin and Cole. The air hadn't settled yet. Still charged. Still alive. She looked at him. Not afraid. Not uncertain. Seeing him clearly now. For the first time. He looked back. And something shifted again. Not dominance. Not control. Something softer, but just as strong. "Did he hurt you?" The question came lower, different from before. She shook her head, but her wrist still marked faint red. His eyes dropped to it, stayed there, a second too long. Then his hand moved, careful this time, not grabbing, not taking, just touching, light at her wrist, checking. Her breath caught, not from pain, from closeness. He realized it too late, but didn't pull away immediately. "Stay away from him," he said, still looking at her wrist. Then lower. "Stay close to me." That wasn't a command, not entirely. It was something else, something deeper. She looked up at him, eyes steady, understanding. "I already do." The words landed softly, but they changed everything. For a second, neither of them moved. Too close, too aware, too real. Because the truth wasn't just that he had protected her. It was that from the moment she stepped into that house, she had already chosen where she belonged. The house was quiet again, but not the same kind of quiet. Something had changed, not just outside, with Briggs gone, but inside, between them. Cole stood near the window, looking out, but not really seeing anything. Behind him, soft footsteps. He didn't turn. He knew. Mei Lin stopped a few steps away, closer than before, closer than she had ever stood. "You are not just a worker." Her voice came softly, but steady. He exhaled, almost like a quiet laugh. Never was. A pause. Just easier that way. She stepped closer, one step, then another, until she was beside him. "You watched everything," she said, not accusing, understanding. He nodded slightly. "I needed to know what kind of people I had here." A pause, then lower. "And what kind stayed." She turned her head, looking at him, really looking. "And what did you see?" The question lingered. He didn't answer right away, didn't rush, like he needed to get it right. Someone who doesn't break. A pause. Even when she should. His eyes shifted, finally meeting hers. And someone who made this place feel different. That word, different, carried more than he meant it to. She held his gaze, didn't look away. "And you?" she asked quietly. "What are you?" That almost made him smile. Almost. "I don't know yet. Honest. But I know this." He stepped closer, closing the last space. Not sudden, not forced, deliberate. "I don't want this place without you in it." Silence. Deep. Heavy. Real. Her fingers lifted, slowly, resting against his chest, over his heart. Same place as before, but this time she didn't hesitate. "Then I stay." Simple, certain, chosen. Something in his expression shifted. The last piece, the last distance, gone. His hand moved, resting at her waist, firm, grounding, pulling her just slightly closer. She leaned into it, naturally, like it had always been there. "You were never useless," he said, voice low, steady, certain. They just didn't know what they were looking at. His thumb brushed lightly against her side. Small movement, but it carried weight. "You made this place a home." A pause, then even quieter. "You made me want one again." Her breath softened, eyes steady on his. "I did not come here to belong," she said. "But—" A small pause. She stepped closer, now barely any space between them. "I found it anyway." That was it. His hand lifted, from her waist to her face. Rough fingers, careful, holding her gently. He gave her time, space, choice. She didn't move away, didn't look down. She leaned in, just slightly. That was all he needed. He lowered his head. That, soft, unhurried, not hunger, not desperation, something deeper. His arm wrapped around her waist now, holding her fully, not pulling, not forcing, just keeping her there. When they parted, they didn't step away. Foreheads close, breath shared. "You're not leaving this place," he said quietly. Not a command, a truth. She shook her head. "No." A small pause, then, "I am not leaving you." Outside, the ranch stretched the same as always, hard, endless, unforgiving. But inside, everything had changed. The cookhouse was no longer just a place to eat. The ranch was no longer just a place to work. And the man who had hidden in silence was no longer alone inside it. Because the woman they had called useless had become the one thing he would never let go.